Shannon. It is Saturday today, and we have got a few things going on. My older two boys and my husband just left to take, Coulter has 2 basketball games this morning, and they're like an hour away, so they've got a little bit of a drive to get there, and we decided that not all of us need to go to that, and so he took the 2 older boys, and they're gonna go enjoy a few hours of basketball. The rest of us are gonna run to the store this morning. We have a birthday party this evening. We also have, my husband and I are going to a little get together with all of the seminary guys and their wives. So I've got to get some tomatoes for that to take with us to add to the meal. And we're gonna go get a birthday present at the store. And then when we get back, I'm gonna make some neighbor gifts for our neighbors for Christmas. Before we leave. We have less than a week now before we head back to Colorado. So I'm going to get those Christmas gifts made today. And when the guys get back this afternoon, we will go around and hand those out to all of our neighbors and wish them a Merry Christmas. That is going to be most of our day today, so I thought I would just take you guys with us and you can hang out, go to the store with us, do a little bit of baking whenever we get back, and spend the day with us.
Pretty cool, but I think I like the traditional better. On the other side. See? They are pretty cute.
When we got home from the store, I started right away on making the cinnamon rolls. This took me a majority of the day because I made them a little bit differently than I normally do, and just between packaging and making the dough and then baking them and letting them cool, getting the frosting made and helping the kids with various things, it just took a lot of time to do this. But I did have some cinnamon rolls left over, and the kids tried them and said that they were really, really good. So I was glad to hear that, because I did bake these differently than I normally do, and I wasn't quite sure how they would turn out. I'm sometimes nervous to do that. I don't test things out before I bake them for other people, and so I'm always nervous that they're not going to turn out. I got this really cute Merry Christmas parchment paper at Hobby Lobby, and I thought that what I would do with it was cut it into smaller pieces, and then I took one piece and put it into my muffin tin in each spot and put my cinnamon rolls into the parchment paper, and then I baked them like that. I wanted to make them each a little individual wrapped up treat, and this was a really cute way to do it. I could have made this even fancier by taking some yarn or some Christmas ribbon after these were done baking and wrapping it around the cinnamon roll just to hold the parchment paper up a little bit more. But I didn't take the time to do that, although that would have been a great idea and would have made it super cute. I have never baked my cinnamon rolls in muffin tins like this, but the kids that ate them said that they turned out really well. I think next time if I do this again, I will make the cinnamon rolls even a bit smaller so that they don't pop out so big over the top of the muffin tin. But most of them were about the right size. There were a few that were overly huge and then they wouldn't stand up straight. They kept tipping over because the top part was heavier than the bottom part. So next time if I do this, I will try to roll them out a bit more evenly and cut them a bit more evenly so that they don't pop up like that over the top and make the cupcake or the cinnamon roll fall over. The way that I cut 12 cinnamon rolls out of each of these batches of dough was I start by cutting them in half first, and then I cut each half in half, and then I cut each of those sections into 3 pieces. This helps me to keep the cinnamon rolls mostly all the same size. Usually the ones that are on the end turn out a bit smaller because they just roll up smaller since they're on the very end of the dough. But by cutting this way, I can count out evenly, it makes it easier on my brain, and it's pretty simple to do. And while the cinnamon rolls were baking, I went ahead and washed the dishes. I try to keep up with dishes when I do a lot of cooking or baking like this because I use the same dishes over and over again. And I knew I was going to need these, and so I decided while everything was still soft on there, I better get them scrubbed up. I also don't have a very big kitchen, so I don't have a ton of room to just leave things sitting around. And once the sink fills up, then the counters start to fill up, and so it's better if I can just get everything washed as soon as I'm done using it so that it's ready for next time and the kitchen stays clean.
Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let earth receive her King. Let every heart prepare him room and heaven.
I've got one other thing I'm gonna make for my neighbors. I wanna make this brown sugar fudge. This is from My Joy-Filled Life. I'll leave a link in the description box for this recipe. So we're gonna make this also and include it in our box of goodies to hand out this afternoon for all of our neighbors. I'm gonna double this recipe since I'm wanting to make enough to go to my neighbor's house. So I'm gonna use 2 sticks of butter. And then the recipe calls for evaporated milk. And I thought I had some. I'm pretty sure I do. I just can't find it over there right now. So I'm gonna use half and half instead, which should turn out fine because it's pretty much like caramel and then turned into fudge. I think half and half will work fine. So with my 2 sticks of butter, I'm gonna add in a lot of brown sugar. Hopefully I've got enough of brown sugar. The recipe calls for 3 cups, and since I'm doubling that, it would be 6 cups. Alright, we're gonna melt this on the stove and stir it together, and then hopefully we'll have enough room to add our half and half in here. If not, I guess I'll have to get out a different pan. Actually, I think I'm just gonna switch over to my big pan here. I've gotta add like 1.25 cups of the half and half, 1 1/4 cups, so just so that I have enough room.
In heaven and nature sing. In heaven and nature sing. Joy to the earth, the Savior reigns. Let men their songs employ.
After I brought this mixture up to a boil, and then some, I think it was 260 degrees, I put it in my mixer, and I was supposed to whisk in 1/2 cup of powdered sugar. So I did that. The recipe said to whisk it for 5 or 6 minutes, and I went ahead and did that, and then I dumped it into a 9x13 pan that was lined with parchment paper, and I stuck it in the refrigerator. It sat in the fridge for a while, probably an hour or so, and I pulled it out thinking that it might be solid by then, and it wasn't. So I put it back in the freezer, and I actually left it in the freezer for quite a while. And even then, when I pulled it out, it was still soft. It definitely was not a fudge consistency. It was still too runny, and I don't know if that had to do with me using half and half instead of evaporated milk, or if I didn't let it cook at the high temperature for long enough, or if I didn't whisk it long enough. I'm not really sure. The flavor was good. It has good flavor. It's great to take a chunk of it and drop it into your hot coffee with some cream. It's delicious that way because it's pretty much caramel, but it wasn't fudge-like. And so when I put this in the boxes to take to the neighbors, I just kind of had to get a chunk off of the parchment paper out of the pan and plop it down into the box. And it was still enjoyable, but just not as pretty as I had wanted it to be.
Fields and floods, rocks, hills, and plains. Repeat the sounding joy. Repeat the sounding joy.
I tried to calculate how many people lived in each house around us. I know at Christmas time, everyone likes to give gifts and give goodies, and a lot of our neighbors are older people who may not even be able to necessarily enjoy these cinnamon rolls or shouldn't enjoy these cinnamon rolls. And I didn't want to overwhelm them with more than what they needed. So I gave each person one cinnamon roll and one little square of the fudge. And that way they could have a special treat if they chose to have it. And if not, it wasn't a huge waste if they couldn't eat it. But I thought if I just give everyone one of something, they wouldn't feel overwhelmed in case other people also bring them Christmas goodies to eat.
Rules the world with truth and grace, and makes the nations prove the glories of His righteousness and wonders of His love, and wonders of His love, and wonders of His love.
I hope you guys enjoyed watching today as I got all of these gifts ready for our neighbors. Thank you so much for being here. I hope this inspired you to give out to your neighbors as well. Have a Merry Christmas, and I will see you on the next video. Bye-bye.